Ever since the first FNAF came out, it always seemed like its community was intertwined with the Minecraft community, for better or for worse. But I think nowadays it isn't as connected as it was back in 2014. But I'm not sure, it could just be the fact that at that time I was more into Minecraft than FNAF. But anyways, there would always be those channels and videos that had like Five Nights at Freddy's inside of Minecraft. But by far, I have never seen anybody manage to do it any better than Caveman Films. All the way back in 2014, Caveman Films started a little Minecraft role-playing like thing that he thought it would just be fun to do with his friend, Ant Venom. Little did he know that would soon turn into a 7-season series on his YouTube channel that has an actual storyline and actual returning characters and actual quality put into it, which to be honest is pretty rare to see whenever you're talking about Five Nights at Freddy's and Minecraft together, because usually that combination's just made for kids, just lots of brainless random videos so kids will just be entertained and they can make money. And this was also made for kids at its time, but I just so happened to be a kid as it came out, so I guess that worked well. But as this almost 7-season series kept on releasing more and more episodes, I feel like it got less and less targeted towards kids and more targeted to its already die-hard fan base, because now it is one of the most popular things on Caveman Films' channel, which seems like it's both a blessing and a curse to him, but I'll get back to that later on in the video. So for now, we will be going over each season of Five Nights at Freddy's. And yes, that is what this series is called. So without further ado, let's begin. During Season 1, Caveman Films had no idea he was going to turn this into a multiple season series, so at the time, he was just having fun with his friends, not really caring if it was some big, intertwined, rich-filled story. And I'm pretty sure in the starting episodes, it was just him and Ant Venom, nobody else. But later on in that season, I'm pretty sure he ended up getting other people to play the animatronics. But it wasn't anything too high quality. It was literally just vanilla Minecraft, and the whole season was on a map that they just found somewhere and downloaded. Yet, with all that criticism, it still had so much heart to it. And to be honest, I might be a bit biased since I did grow up watching this. In my opinion, the best thing about Season 1 is the fact that whenever they were releasing Season 1, the purple guy was revealed and was a thing, but nobody knew, the purple guy's name. William Afton wasn't a name in the series yet at the time this was releasing, so instead they just called him Ronaldo. So now because of the series, anytime I hear the name Ronaldo, I immediately think of William Afton. So in terms of story-wise for this season, it pretty much just followed the story of the first FNAF game at this point, where there's lots of dead kids, there's a ghostly golden bear at the end, and of course you can't forget Ronaldo. Now moving on to Season 2, Season 2 pretty much just doubled everything from Season 1. Doubled the amount of story, doubled the amount of offices, now there was 2 offices, doubled the actual size of the map. Now it was a full-on factory in Season 2. And overall, it was just a huge improvement over Season 1. It was still the same basic night shift formula, but that gets changed later on. Plus, I'm pretty sure there was days as well. Now there was multiple episodes, not just of each night they spent there, but of some days as well. In case you haven't picked up on the pattern yet, each season is a different map. And this map they use in Season 2 is one of the most innovative and unique maps that they've used in all of the seasons. I especially like the mechanic that there are 2 offices and multiple cameras that are limited to only certain offices. I think that is the best way they could have done a 2-player FNAF style game. Now my only issue with this season is that the brightness can be a bit of an annoyance. But that's just mainly my fault because I like to keep the brightness on my phone very low. The story and also the reasoning that they returned to a Five Nights at Freddy's place is pretty good. Especially near the end of this season, lots of stuff starts going down and it's pretty cool. We even get to see Ronaldo at the very end. And one last thing before we move on to Season 3. Season 2 actually revealed Vinny, a brand new cow animatronic.
These three
And our newest model. You didn't.
Oh, hi.
Really? It's okay.
Whoa!
It's okay.
Okay.
You're good. He just sometimes they turn on. It's okay, boys. Don't be afraid of it.
So now let's move on to Season 3. Now, Season 3 is personally my least favorite out of all the 6 seasons that have been released. So, if Season 2 doubled the size of Season 1, then Season 3 tripled the size of Season 2. The map is like way bigger, which in a way is just kind of overwhelming. Like some parts of the map they could have just did a whole other season on, because the whole theme of this season is like a theme park type deal. And in this theme park there's so much space, so much things, so many buildings, and lots of them could have deserved their own seasons on their own just by how big that map was. It was definitely overwhelming, to say the least. And to be honest, it was the same thing with the story too. Like, the story gets a lot more confusing in Season 3. You end up seeing a new version of Ronaldo, but then it turns out Ronaldo wasn't his actual name, and then Ronaldo also has a son that's helping you out for some reason. But then apparently none of it really matters too much, because it was all just a coma that you and Ant Venom seemed to have at the same time, because Ronaldo drugged the both of you. Now, don't get me wrong, Season 3 isn't, like, bad. I still like all of the My Nights at Freddy's seasons, but, like, even Caveman Films himself agrees to all of this.
The map was too big. We had so much, like, here's the Fredbear's Diner. That'd be a whole game all by itself. But that was just a small little piece. It was just a teeny tiny piece.
But that was mainly just a lot of criticism. There was also lots of good stuff about this map as well. Like, my personal favorite part about this season is the fact that there was a part 0, or like an episode 0, that took place when they were kids. And it was about the original Fredbear's Family Diner. And the kid version of Caveman Films ends up walking in on the purple guy murdering a kid. So on that note, let's move on to Season 4. Now, Season 4 is a bit different compared to all the other seasons so far. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure this is the first My Nights at Freddy's season to not have cameras and not have like an office. But I might be wrong about that, since it's been a while since I've watched this season. And based off of what you're seeing in the background right now, you can tell that this season is a lot more cinematic than the other seasons, which I actually really like. Since Caveman Films wasn't spending every single episode just sitting in an office, he was having to build a brand new part to this map every single episode. That's why Season 4 is literally a mix between like a hospital, the sister location map, and also the FNAF 2 map. This is also the first season to not include Ant Venom. Even though I do consider that fact a bad thing about this season, I also do really like the ending of this one. This is probably my favorite ending for any of the My Nights at Freddy's seasons. I mean, it literally has the dead kids, a ghost version of Ant Venom, and also it shows William Afton getting spring-locked.
Goodbye, Ronaldo.
So with that said, let's move on to Season 5. Now, I never knew this until Caveman Films outright said it, but apparently this season takes place in an alternate universe. By the time I found out that this season existed, the whole season was already finished, like all the episodes were already made. This season is honestly pretty similar to the last season, which I forgot to mention. The last season was called My Nights at Freddy's Origins, and this one is called My Nights at Freddy's Starlight Revival. So Starlight Revival is pretty similar to Origins in the fact that Caveman Films doesn't have an office. He's exploring new parts of the pizza place every single episode. And throughout the entire season, there's no sign of both Ant Venom and Springtrap. Well, I guess that makes sense because this takes place in an alternate universe. Instead, we had an old, rusty, golden Freddy looking suit that had a dead body inside it. But instead of this dead body in an animatronic suit being a serial killer that killed many kids, instead he helps you throughout this season. But besides that, there isn't really too much of anything else to say about it. I mean, I like the animatronic designs, but that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and move on to Season 6. Now, Season 6 is actually called Scenery Saloon and is apparently based off of a Texas roadhouse. Personally, this one is my favorite MNAF season out of all of them, and I believe a lot of the fans of this series would agree with me. The map is just the right amount of size, there's a good amount of animatronics there. Most of the animatronics have cool new designs while still having the classic Five Nights at Freddy's feel to them. The original office style of gameplay is back, and best of all, Ant Venom has returned. Looking into the story of this season, the story of it is really cool, really neat. It's not too confusing, but it's not too simple either. Plus, that big twist about Ant Venom at the end is really cool. I'm not going to spoil it for any of y'all who still want to go watch it. And also, the return of Springtrap is really cool, especially since that's like actually the first time we saw Springtrap in this series. So overall, there isn't really any bad things about this new season. It's probably the best season out of the whole series. But now you might be wondering, why am I making this video all about this series that has been here since 2014? Why am I just making it now? And that's because the trailer for Season 7, called like Vacancy Filled or something like that, the trailer for it just dropped a couple days ago, I'm pretty sure, maybe a couple weeks ago. And it honestly looks really cool. I feel like it has lots of potential. Plus, I wanted an excuse to talk about this series. I know this is a little bit different than the usual content I make on this channel, but don't worry, I'm working on a new Markiplier theory right now that should be uploaded tomorrow. So, at the very beginning of this video, I said that this series has been a blessing and a curse to Caveman Films. Now, I might be completely wrong about this, but I feel like Caveman Films was perfectly happy with ending off the Five Nights at Freddy's series at Season 6. But then Security Breach came out, the hype for Five Nights at Freddy's grew, so he had a choice to make. And based off of his replies whenever he talks about anything Five Nights at Freddy's Season 7 related, I feel like you can kind of tell that he's debating whether or not it's a good idea.
Are you ever going to finish or continue MNAF? So Scenery Saloon ended everything off perfectly for the narrative of Dan. We are going to probably be doing stuff on Security Breach, but I don't know how to work it because without knowing the plot of Security Breach, I don't know if there is a way to marry the Dan character with the upcoming series. That doesn't mean that there's going to be anybody that doesn't recur, but as of right now, yes, we're going to be doing another MNAF. No, it's not going to follow off from Scenery Saloon unless we can make it work. But Scenery Saloon is, in my opinion, the actual end of MNAF. Springtrap's dead. We found out Ant's been dead. You know, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, let's go back.
You can tell that Caveman Films really does care about a good story. He doesn't want just some mindless, random Five Nights at Freddy's season to be the next one. He wants to keep on improving each season. But it's kind of hard to do that when Season 6, the Scenery Saloon, already kind of ended most of the narratives that were still ongoing. But with this new trailer, it seems like he solved all those problems and got it back under control, especially since it seems that Dan is going to be returning as the protagonist for this new season. But at the end of the day, I guess only time will tell. So thank you guys for watching, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will be seeing y'all in the next video.